my channel, or if you're new here, my name is Hallie. Today's video is basically what the title says, and we're just going to be going over little changes and ways to lower your A1C. So I'll just get right into it. My first tip is pre-bolusing, and I'm not just talking about giving your insulin before your meal, but actually giving it 10 to 15 minutes before your meal. You need to give the rapid acting insulin a chance to work because that'll really help you lower your A1C overall. Because if you keep going high or spiking after every meal, it's just going to continue to trend that A1C upwards. But if you give it a chance to work, because rapid acting insulin like Novolog and Humalog take about 10 to 15 minutes to actually get into your body. So as I said, if you give it that chance to work and do its job, then you won't be spiking after every meal. So my second tip is frequent correction doses. Now I will tell you this is a little trickier off the pump, because when you have a pump, it usually calculates your insulin on board, or IOB. It's a little difficult being on it like pens or syringes, because then you don't have that pump or that machine to tell you how much insulin on board you have and to calculate how much insulin you should give for that blood sugar. So as I said, it gets a little difficult being on MDI because you can end up stacking insulin, which is bad. Now, if you're on a CGM or a Dexcom, I would go ahead and say to continue to check your blood sugar and know where it's at. And if it's I would say it's all individual for each person, but for me personally, when I was on Dexcom or now on MDI, I'm going to give, or multiple daily injections, I'm going to give a correction dose 140 and higher, maybe even 120 to 130s, but it's up to you. But just check on your Dexcom and see where you're at, and just give a little bit of insulin and a correction dose to help you get that A1C lower. My third tip, if you're on a CGM, is lowering your high alert. Instead of saying your high alert is in the 200s or the 300s, personally for me, when I was on Dexcom, it would help to lower it to 170 or 180 so that I could catch that high sooner and again bring down that A1C. As I said, it is individual for everyone. The number you want to set your high alert is up to you. But that is personally for me what I just did when I was on Dexcom, and yes, it does make a tremendous amount of difference when you are trying to lower your blood sugar. My fourth tip is to not treat a low blood sugar, sorry, I don't know why I did that, but a low blood sugar in the 70s. Now technically, for a healthy adult who has no heart problems, no other underlying conditions, 70 and below is actually low. Now, if I'm steady and trending just fine and I'm not trending down, then I'm not going to go ahead and treat a low blood sugar that is in the 70s. Sometimes even when I'm in the 60s, especially if I'm not trending down and there's no obvious warning signs that I'm going to go lower, then I will, and especially if I'm not feeling really bad hypoglycemic symptoms, then I'm not going to go ahead and treat a blood sugar in the 60s because again, that helps you lower your A1C. I also just want to add that normally in the 60s or 70s, especially in the 70s, I'd go for a snack or something to treat my low. But again, if you're steady and not trending down or on Dexcom and you're not having double down arrows, then it'd be better not to go for a snack, because then a snack basically is just going to get my blood sugar not where I want it to go and probably a little higher than I want it to be. My fifth tip is to change your infusion set frequently. So I know this is only for pump users, but the recommended amount of time, or you should change your infusion set every 3 days. Now I know myself and some others will leave it on longer than that, but the problem with that, excuse the background noise, but the problem with that is you won't know if your infusion set is working properly, because the only sign you're going to get is that you're high, and then you're going to be trending high for quite a while, and that is not worth it. Again, you should also change your infusion set every 3 days, because it'll be easier to rely on the insulin that's coming through your pump instead of just kind of guessing and seeing if you're high or not. I know specifically on the Tandem pump, it has a reminder in the pump to change your infusion set every 3 days. Another good tip, and something that I've actually never done, but if I go back on a pump, is what I should do is, instead of, I know Tandem specifically, you can fill your pump up to the max amount, but to help you remember to change your infusion set every 3 days. You could fill it just for the amount of insulin you're going to need for 3 days specifically, so that when you run out, you know it's 3 days time and you've got to change it because you have no more insulin. My sixth tip is to eat less portions, and I'm not saying don't eat any food or eat a drastic amount less. It's to eat the balanced diet of veggies, fruits, grains, that kind of thing. Because I know on days when I eat junk food or I eat not so much a good diet, I'm more likely to go high. So that is my sixth tip. My last and final tip is to analyze your blood sugar numbers, and this is pretty easy to do on Dexcom because Dexcom specifically has the Clarity app, and if you're on MDI, I would just I know my meters specifically, which is Contour Next. You can go back and look through, I would say 180 days of data, or if you really want to be strategic and get your A1C under control, take something like a spreadsheet on your phone, or if you're really keen to writing down things, write down your blood sugars, how much insulin you're giving, and basically with what you do with the Clarity app, you can do that on a piece of paper or a spreadsheet, but see where your numbers are trending, why they went high, why they went low, what you did to get them steady. Just kind of take a look at what is going on in your day-to-day life and what is going on with your whole diabetes as a whole, and your blood sugars, to kind of see where you can make little tweaks or changes in what you're eating, how much insulin you're giving, your ratio, your specifics. If you have a sliding scale still for corrections, that kind of thing. But yeah, that would be my last and final tip. So that is it for today's video. I just want to thank you guys for watching. If you did enjoy this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Remember to hit that subscribe button and that bell to be notified every time I post a new video. So before I go, I just want you guys to leave me a comment down below as to what is something you have done specifically outside of my tips. Now, if it is one of my tips, then leave that comment down below of what you've done to get your A1C down to an appropriate number, I would say. But again, I just want to thank you guys for watching today's video, and I will see y'all in the next one. Bye.